Hello. I'm an admin on the Kia e-Niro UK interest group on Facebook, and someone wrote on there that Kia have announced the specifications for the 2021 model year e-Niro, and this is very exciting. I'm not going to say what their name is, the person that wrote this, just in case they shouldn't have mentioned it or their dealer shouldn't have mentioned it, but I'm going to share it with you because I love a good leak. So earlier this year, Kia released the 4 trim of the Niro. That was back in January. I think it was January. It's difficult to tell. 2020 has just been one kind of big mess of time, hasn't it? So back in January. And they did this to get the specs of the e-Niro up fairly level with the Soul EV, which had better specs. The first edition, which I have here, was pretty hobbled. I mean, the Kia kind of just released pretty much the bare minimum spec they could get away with in the UK. To be able to release a decent EV with a fantastic range, which is what they did. And they got all the plaudits, of course, and it got Car of the Year. Justifiably, it got Car of the Year, except they just didn't make enough. They only committed to something like, I think it was 900, and they didn't even manage that. So this year's different because you've got the EU emissions targets, and I'm not going to go through all this again. The EU emissions targets, which have kicked all the manufacturers up the bottom, and Kia are finally producing these in a decent quantity. Having said that, there are still people that wanted the first edition that ordered it a year ago and still don't have it. There are a few ideas I've got about why Kia might release a 2021 e-Niro when they haven't even caught up with the previous one. And of course it's to keep buzz going, but there are a few more things as well, I think. So firstly, I think it's good that they've got specs that are relatively consistent across the hybrid, plug-in hybrid and electric models. That makes it much easier really as for the salespeople. And perhaps it's even easier for the factories to be able to produce the cars in the first place. I don't know, to be honest. Maybe it's also good for the worldwide production. Most of the markets have roughly the same spec. I don't know about that. There are 3 new trims, okay? You've got the 2, the 3 and the 4 Plus, which is the new top end. The 4 Plus is only on the electric version. The other 2 are the same as the hybrids. Now this means that Kia can now say that the e-Niro will start at $29,595, including the UK government grant. So that's fantastic, and it's still a lot of money, but that's fantastic that they can say that then starts at that price, because you're increasing the amount of people that can buy it. Also, a lot of people don't need the 282 mile range that this one has. They'd be happy with 180 miles, which is what they'll get in the 2 trim. Also, it helps them compete a little more with the MG ZS EV, which I believe is selling really well and is a fantastic car, apparently. Not that I've driven one yet, but although at least on paper, or even by looking at the website, the comparison on the website, the MG ZS EV is probably still the better deal, to be honest, than the low-end e-Niro. So I'd be interested to see what you think. Have a look. So the MG ZS EV is $22,495. The low-end e-Niro is $29,595. But have a look, see what you think. So clearly by offering different price points, you maximise the number of customers you can get. But the big thing, I think, is upsell. It's fantastic to be able to upsell your customers to a better spec just for a few extra thousand or whatever. A few extra thousand sounds like a lot, but when you're dealing with people getting cars on leases and finance, actually it doesn't make very much difference. A lot of people, when they're leasing or getting finance, they all go for the top spec naturally. So the most wonderful thing is that there's now less of a price difference between the hybrid and the electric. So the hybrid is $24,900. We're talking the bottom end 2 trim. The plug-in hybrid is $30,265. The full electric is $29,595. So that means the full electric with its 180 mile range is now cheaper than the plug-in hybrid. And it's cheaper, obviously, thanks to the UK government grant. But that's fantastic, isn't it? I mean, what a wonderful thing for dealers to be able to have enthusiasm over the electric model, that they can actually now say, well, you know, you could go full electric and it's cheaper than the plug-in hybrid. So it'd be interesting to see how they play that. If If the margins are better on the plug-in hybrid, and it's possible they are, then maybe they'll still try to push people that way. But I think Kia do actually get it, that we do have to go full electric, and I think they're putting their weight behind it. They're one of the few that are. The grant gets paid by the UK government to Kia, so Kia still get the extra money. From the upsell, the customers are happy because they get a fantastic electric car for less than a plug-in hybrid. Everyone's a winner, apart from the government, I guess. But they would say that they're winning as well, because obviously more people are getting electric, and it makes them look good, doesn't it? So enough of all that. These are the specs. Let's go through them. So they call them grades, 2 grades. I'll call them trims, but you know what I mean. So the 2 grade, it has a 180-mile range, privacy glass. I think this has privacy glass. I'm pretty sure the first edition does. Heated external mirrors. The first edition doesn't have that, and it should. And I'm really annoyed with myself for not mentioning it in my year review, because that's so true. Like in the winter, you really notice it. You've got to scrape the bloody ice off the windows. Battery heating system. That's what they added to the 4 trim recently, and that means that the battery should be conditioned for charging. So when you do a rapid charge, if a battery is too cold, it won't charge fast enough. This should get it up to temperature a little bit more. Electric windows, that has this underfloor box. I think that's talking about the boot. Voice recognition, I can't imagine that's any good. I mean, I've struggled with Siri, let alone that. Luggage board, I think that's the thing that goes, I think that's in the boot as well, that you pull across. Anyway, 8-inch display, that's the same as this, but it doesn't have UVO Connect. So in that respect, it's also the same as this car. The 3 grade, the 3 trim, has the 64 kilowatt hour battery, like this one. So you get everything from the 2 grade, but you get UVO Connect, leather seats, heated front seats, heated steering wheel, wireless phone charger, seat back pockets, deluxe door scuff. That's the bit I think that says Kia Niro on it, under the door, and power seat adjustment. So all of that, apart from UVO Connect, is like this one. The 4 Plus grade. With that, you get LED headlights. Just headlights. You don't get LED internal lights or fog lights. It's a bit annoying. Premium sound system, front parking sensors, which I think they should all have, but anyway. Ambient lighting, heat pump, which I find bizarre. Why is that only on the top spec? The heat pump is one of the things that makes this car so efficient. It's the thing that ensures that any heat that's generated from the battery or whatever, it comes back into the cabin. And it's just a more efficient way of dealing with the excess heat, of course. So I'm surprised that's not in the other ones. So all of that was on the 2020 model year 4 trim, but this is the Plus trim we're talking about. So you've got a few extra goodies. Sunroof, fantastic. The ZS, the MG ZS EV, which I keep talking about, that has a sunroof, and it's a real premium look, I think, for a car that cheap. And so it's really nice that this will have it as well. I imagine it'll affect the efficiency slightly, but I'm not sure about that. Intelligent speed limit warning. That's really good. The camera can read the speed limit signs, and it will put it on the display here and on the dash as well. On the dash, that's good, because if you've got CarPlay or something, then you wouldn't see it otherwise. Blind spot warning. It will. You'll get a beep and you get a warning appear on your mirror if there's someone in your blind spot area when you're trying to change lane. So that's great. Ventilated front seats, fantastic, because with the leather seats in this car, in summer, wearing shorts, it's painful. Aluminium pedals, which is just funky. Memory seats on the driver's side, fantastic. That's one of the things I was moaning about before. I don't know how it will work, but I'm assuming it must have profiles that you can change. And 11 kilowatt 3-phase charging. This is lovely. That's something that was a €700 upgrade in the Dutch market, I believe, possibly other markets. I think Ireland had it. I'm not sure whether it was standard, but Ireland did have it already. So anyway, lovely that they're adding that. It means that you'll be saving a couple of hours on a full charge, I guess, if you find a public charger AC, and you're charging on AC. So that's what that will give you. So that's great. That's all good. I mean, that's a really good spec, I think, now, and that brings it all in line with most of the other markets, as far as I can tell. As for paint colours, well, the choice still reads like a box of pencils, really. So you've got white, silky silver, midnight black, and graphite. But they're adding Yacht Blue, which is new, and I'll pop that up on screen so you can see how it looks. They've taken away Gravity Blue, which was a very classy colour, I thought, actually. It looked practically black, though. Although Kia's head researcher in charge of colour said it was like chic navy suits, apparently. The stuff I find on the internet. So when the e-Niro was first advertised, they had an ocean blue colour, which never actually got produced, which was a shame because it was a beautiful colour and we would have gone for that, I think. All I can think, with my designer hat on, all I can think is at the front of the car and the back, you've got little areas of light blue to signify that this is the e-Niro. And they probably thought that, well, it just clashes really badly. And that's also the reason I imagine that we don't have a red e-Niro, which is it's such a shame. But I can see where they're thinking it would red and light blue would not look good. But it's a damn shame because, I'm heading for my midlife crisis and I want a red car. I'll have to get a Tesla Roadster, maybe. So with all those specs, what are we missing? Well, we still, as far as I'm aware, we still don't have rear USB power outlets in this new 4 Plus trim, which I still find odd if that's the case, because it saves Kia like a few pounds, I guess. I mean, maybe a pound, maybe even less. And yeah, the LED fog lights, or lack of LED fog lights or interior bulbs, are a bit weird as well. What else would be nice? Well, I think it'd be really good if there was a HUD, which is the thing that pops up in the front and shows you stuff. The Hyundai Kona has that, and the Soul EV has that. It's a shame we don't have that. Also, it would be nice if the charging was faster because, yes, it's a 77 kilowatt charger, if you can ever get that, but it's elusive. It would be nice if it was like 100 kilowatts, like the new Peugeot or the Vauxhall Corsa. So that would be nice. But I imagine they're going to save a battery upgrade for 2022 model year. That's my guess. And I imagine they'll update the design of it because I don't think the design will be any different on this. So I imagine they'll do a big refresh at that point. But we'll see. So if you want one of these new ones, you could push your dealer to get it, but you've got to wait until November. So if you've been waiting a long time, you might feel, well, actually, you just want one now. Now, even if you got one now, the 4 trim is fantastic. This car already, my first edition, is already fantastic. The 4 trim is even better. So if you were to wait for November, I kind of wouldn't blame you because there are some really good specs here. But you'd be paying, the current e-Niro 4 trim is $34,995. The 4 Plus is $36,145. So you'd have to wait until November, at least November, because you can bet that they'll just be still going through catching up with orders that they've got. You'd be paying £1,150 more, and you'll still have a longer wait. So if it was me, if you were buying cash, I would still buy the e-Niro right now, as soon as you possibly can, especially as there are a few cancellations now, because coronavirus has made the buying process a bit tricky for a lot of people, because there's a lot of people have been struggling and you can't afford a very expensive car like this. So if you have the cash, I would snap up an e-Niro now. If you really want to upgrade, you can sell it and you would probably still get your money back because they're not going to depreciate anytime soon. We're years away from them catching up with demand. And if you're already waiting, well, there's a good chance that you'll probably automatically get upgraded to this anyway, because you might have to wait until November anyway to get your e-Niro. So there it is. That's the 2021 model year e-Niro. It'll be interesting to see what upgrades they do around the world. If you know anything, then do let me know. And certainly, I think this is a really good upgrade from Kia, and it's getting us closer to being a perfect car. I mean, it already is a pretty perfect car, but it's not far off. I mean, really, I'm just nitpicking when I talk about LED fog lights and things like that. But really, I think it's still a very good deal. It is expensive, and of course, it does mean that it costs more than it does now. But you've just got to decide if that's worth it. Go on to pickanev.com, a shameless plug. Go on to pickanev.com and do a little comparison with the e-Niro, and because I'm adding these new trims on there, so do a comparison and see what you think between this and, let's say, the Tesla Model 3 or something, even though they're different cars, different shapes and everything. But see what you think. Okay, well, so it comes out in November. It still feels so far away, doesn't it? This year is going so slow, I think. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you found it interesting. Do like and subscribe and press the bell icon, all the usual stuff, and then you'll be notified of any other videos I make. And thank you so much, and I shall speak to you very soon. Bye for now.